Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Kanye, or Ye. I guess that's his legal name now, so we're gonna respect that. This brother can't stay out the news every day. It's more and more. There are more and more things being put out negatively. And it goes to show you that these people are not playing with him. They are looking to destroy this man financially. See, this is what I'm gonna say, one lesson that we in Black America need to learn. You can have beef with somebody, have an issue with somebody or something, with something someone says, with something that someone does, but I would say minus somebody actually, let's say, deleting a family member of yours, let's say physically harming to an extent. Because there are times when someone may physically harm you and you do no violence. Sometimes people may physically harm people you love and violence is necessary. But anyway, if you truly want to destroy a person, break them down, see them at their lowest point, take their money. I would say take the freedom, but you got people who, as long as they got money in the bank, they got money hidden somewhere, you can take their freedom for a few years and they don't care. They might be in prison as long as they got their money. They won't care. I mean, take for instance, was this one guy who was like a Bitcoin thief or something, knew how to hack accounts, and somehow, they showed him, I think it was on Vice, with the name of the channel, and he was in court with a lot of other youngsters, and a lot of other youngsters in there for like some kind of criminal, stealing, fighting, stuff like that. This dude was in court for like stealing millions upon millions of dollars in Bitcoin, and he wouldn't tell where the money was at, so they was like, well, you gotta do so many years, and he's like, okay. But he like, when I get out, I'm gonna have all this money. So he didn't care. But it's like I was saying, if you wanna destroy somebody, you mess with their money. I learned that back watching the show Dallas back in the 80s. Got them all on DVD, watching periodically. J.R. Ewing, that's the character you gotta watch. That dude, when he had enemies, problems with people, there was no fights, there was no murders or nothing like that. This dude did what he could to take your money. And he would sit there while he's sitting on a pedestal watching you just suffer and would laugh in your face. But that's real life. That's how people with money do it, because they're not trying to lose their money. They know how hard they work to get it. They know how hard you work to get it, so let's just destroy the person where they can't make an honest living. They be groveling at your feet. This is what we're seeing with Brother Ye. Now, if you don't know, like he went out and said a bunch of stuff that they claim is anti-Semitic. Again, look at the true definition of a Semite. Look at the true definition of DEFCON 3, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I told you. He said, I'm gonna say something anti-Semitic, and he said like a rap beat with talking about using the N-word, which is basically he's telling you that we are the true Semites. How the non-melanated people became Semites is beyond me, but they took the word, but it's kind of like, the LGBTQ community taking the rainbow, taking the word non-binary, which is like a computer term, mathematical term, something like that. And they just take words and they flip it to make it mean something for them. And it's skewed way off from the original definition. But anyway, we're gonna get into this story. Now, I'm on CNN.com and it said Adidas is on the hot seat to cut ties with, they say, Kanye West. Again, that's the level of disrespect. His name is legally Ye now. Now, if you don't know, there's been a lot of companies, or a few companies that have cut ties with old brother Ye. Like for instance, Balenciaga and Vogue. Can you say that? I'm trying to read it, and I could have said it without even looking at it. And Vogue said cut ties with him last week, and on Monday, a talent agency CAA dropped him as a client, but it said he did no work with them for almost 6-7 years, maybe at the most. So that's really goes without saying. And you know, Bank of America, no, Chase Bank, was it a couple of weeks ago? Well, they said back in September. Told him he had to get his money out the bank, but it was because he was, I guess, talking reckless about the bank owner and the bank owner's friends or something like that. So, you know, they trying to go after this brother's cash. No other way. No, saying nothing else will go after his money. But I'm gonna read some of this because I want y'all to see the comparisons. That's what I'm trying to get at. I want y'all to see the comparisons between what's going on with Kanye. We're gonna talk about Jay-Z. We're gonna talk about Ice Cube, and don't forget Donald Sterling back with the Golden, when he used to own the Golden State Warriors. Let's get into it. It said, quote, I can say anti-Semitic-ish and Adidas cannot drop me, Kanye West said during his now infamous tirade against Jews during the Drink Champs podcast earlier this month. With the social media uproar focused on Adidas brewing, Ye's theory is now being tested. Here's the deal. A list of brands distancing themselves from West is growing by the day. Balenciaga and Vogue publicly cut ties last week, and on Monday, talent agency CAA dropped West as a client, and production company MRC said that it's shelving a documentary on West. Now the scrutiny has shifted to the German sportswear giant and its long-standing partnership with the controversial artist. See, Ye think they can't drop him because of them Yeezys. Because before now, he could put them shoes out at noon and by 12:05, be completely sold out for whatever. I don't know how much they cost. I know they was in the hundreds, and I never looked at them because I don't need no shoes that bad. They ain't the nicest looking shoes either, but they Ye's. You know what I'm saying? They was Kanye, so people jumped on him because he had a following like that. Rich or poor, black or white, and then everything in between. So he's saying he's feeling that they can't drop him because all his shoes is the way his shoes are selling. What he don't realize is if he loses his fan base and them shoes don't sell, oh, they'll drop him real quick. They may just end up dropping him, getting ready to drop him now. I think he's like maybe the highest seller in Adidas. But when it comes to being on cold, well, I can't really say being on, well, interesting. It's a German shoe company. How they gonna look not dropping Ye when he said something about, quote unquote, Das Nazi Jews? Because Germany already got that history with, you know, Hitler and the Nazis, you know, Ashkenazi Jews back in World War II, World War I, I can't remember. Good Lord, you know. But anyway, with that whole stigma, so they're like between a rock and a hard place. You got a black American here making us all this money, keeping our company afloat while we try to find a way to make, you know, to boost income in other ways. But he said something about them folk that, oh man, that we look bad. Our history doesn't shed a good light on us. So they are between the rock and the hard place. So man, that's going to be interesting. It says celebrities including Kat Dennings, Josh Gad, and Meg Scott. I don't know these people. Condemn Adidas for sticking by West. Deadly Shrimp, I remember him. Former NBA sharpshooter and Adidas sponsor Reed wrote, I represented the three stripes during my career and beyond. He's a pretty good shooter too. And Adidas needs to make a statement now. Suspend any relationship with Kanye West until he has received psychiatric help. But why wait? End it now. He won't change. Hashtag erase the hate. Now see, he brought up them he need to get some psychiatric help, which he may need. You know, throwing a bone out there, throwing a lifeline out there. But he said if he ain't gonna do it, you know, get rid of it. It's simple as that. But the issue with is Kanye is that they can drop you because you don't own Adidas. You are in partnership with Adidas, just like you was in partnership with these other companies. And at any moment, they can drop you. Just like when a bank told you to move your hundreds and something $1 million out of their establishment, or out of that company, out of their banks. What? You don't think they could miss that money? I mean, shoot, I think they would. But again, they got people with a lot more money than you who got their money and investments in your bank. And though when those guys collectively start talking, your quote unquote measly $140 million ain't nothing to them. Because they're not gonna let you sit there and dog their people like that. So going back to my previous video, you need to just, put your money in a black-owned bank, but a truly black-owned bank. Not like the black banks back in the day with the Freedmen's Bank back when the Civil War, during Reconstruction, after slavery was ended. Not that, because that was a debacle, fiasco, and the reason why a lot of black folks till this day don't trust banks. But if you can find one of these banks that truly own, control, buy black Americans, you need to get on. Just like your shoes. You got $140 million liquid. I'm sure you can take your designs and make some more shoes. Go somewhere else. There are other factories in China, probably, which is probably where you get your shoes made at. There are plenty of factories who will still make your shoes to your specifications, with no problem, with $140 million liquid. Yeah, do it. But the key is owning what you're doing. Control. That way you can control what you're doing, because you know the difference between a person that's a partner and a person that's an owner. And then it depends on what kind of partner you is. Because I can't really call a person a partner when they can just drop you like that. You remember, let's go back to the music business with Death Row Records. Suge Knight, Dr. Dre. They were 50-50 partners. They say Dre left without nothing. Say he could have left with something, but Dre, I'm sure he left with something, but he didn't leave with what his valuation was, which I'm sure he could have. It's just that he didn't want to go through that whole thing. He had a whole nother game plan. He knew how Suge Knight was, business-wise and personal-wise. I think he just wanted to get out of that. Now if it was another guy, maybe one of those, Ashkenazi Jews, if they was part of Death Row, I'm quite sure they would took shit to court and got their money. But I don't think Dre, just was on thinking on that level. And I think they probably promised him a whole lot more money, but he just walked away from it. And they probably said they'll take care of Suge Knight in their own way. But that was a partnership that he could have left with money. But the deal like that Kanye had, even a deal like Jay-Z, let's get back to Jay-Z. Remember Jay-Z? When he was he's suing Bacardi because they not being truthful that he feel with the money, that they hiding money. They come to find out this dude don't even know where they store the alcohol, where they store the barrel, where the warehouse is at. It's like, how are you a partner, 50-50 partner in a business venture, and you don't know where anything is? That's a little strange. And so, but you gotta go sue Bacardi because they're not showing you the money. And then earlier this year he won a lawsuit against the perfume, the fragrance company. That they sued him first, saying that he didn't live up to his part of the deal when it came to promoting and marketing the fragrance. But he actually won because the judge said, well, hey, did y'all sell any of this fragrance after the deal was made? And it was like, yeah. You got Jay-Z name, to help you sell a product, whether he did a lot of marketing or not. His name sold enough, so y'all owe him $4.5 million in royalties. But that was, like I said, that wasn't a partnership. Yeah, that wasn't partners. That was like a deal. So when somebody says a partnership, I am kind of leery of what that could mean, because if you don't own anything like they own it, you're not controlling anything truthfully like they're controlling, you're not a partner. Y'all just in a partnership type deal, but you're really still working for them. You just call it a partnership because y'all splitting the money 50-50, supposedly. But that's it. That's as far as it goes. And that's really not saying that. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not hating. First of all, let me tell you, I'm not hating on Kanye, Jay-Z, or anybody else. Because these dudes, public figures, entertainment, made millions upon millions, maybe even, like I said, worth billions of dollars. I can't knock it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hating. I'm nowhere close, nowhere near got the money. What they got. The money I got is probably like pocket change. Like they could probably like pocket change they could throw on the ground and walk away from it. Wouldn't miss it with what I'm worth and the money I have. So let's get that straight. But what I'm just trying to bring to you guys is understand what's being said in the news, in the media. Understand business and money. Because don't want them to come out telling you things, having you believe things that aren't really factual. You know what I'm saying? It's not what it seems to be. So going back, like I say, Kanye, Jay-Z, they were in deals. They're not partnerships. Jay-Z was partners in Rockefeller Records. And according to the stories, he, screwed Dame Dash, did some behind the scenes deals, and ended up owning all of Rockefeller himself. But they were partners, 50-50. Anything, I think it was Biggs. Him, Dame Dash, and I forgot the dude's name, the last name was Biggs, I think. They own like a third of Rockefeller piece. So they were partners. That's a partnership. If you want to sell, you're gonna sell, I can sell my share, you sell your share, you can buy me out. That's a partnership. One couldn't just say, Dame Dash, you gotta go. We couldn't tie with Dame Dash. No, that was a partnership. What I want to say is too, like I say, the difference in like a partnership, a deal, and owning something. Let's go to Ice Cube. Ice Cube now, he is part owner of the Big Three basketball league. 50-50 partners, I believe. And I think the guy that's with him sounds like a Jewish guy. No last name, I believe it's like a Jewish guy last name, I'm not sure. But he's 50-50 partners with him, okay? So that means that if Ice Cube would have came out and he said that, Kanye said that Ice Cube was his influence, and then Cube said, man, I've never been anti-Semitic. Don't put that on me. I think Cube understood what Kanye was saying. And I understand, and we all understand what Cube is saying. Cube is saying, they try to say, because the media try to say that Kanye, that Ye blamed Cube, blamed Cube for his being able to go out there and speak the way he spoke. The media call it anti-Semitic. Cube said, I've never been anti-Semitic. But you listen to his album, Death Certificate, classic album. Got it on vinyl, vinyl and CD. You know what he was saying in the album. But again, Black Americans are the true Semites. So, you can take that for what it is. Read into it, understand what he's saying. He's saying, I ain't never heard no Semites, never have, never will. It's simple as that. But anyway, Cube is 50-50 owner with another guy. If Cube come out and want to start back rapping and start talking, throw it off about Ashkenazi Jews or what have you, all he can do, all they're gonna do is like, they can buy him out of the big three. But you know what they'll probably do? They probably wouldn't buy him out. You know what they'd probably do? They'll probably stop sponsoring, you know, stop sponsoring the league, stop showing the games on TV. You know, arenas would probably stop, you know what I'm saying, housing the games. But they won't shut it down, and then they'll probably have his partner say, hey, you tell him to just step down or buy it, you know, so you buy them out. If not, it's gonna continue to happen, and eventually you'll have nothing. They'll probably do that. But like I said, but again, it's about getting to the money and stopping the money. Now, let's go back to Donald Sterling. Y'all remember Donald Sterling? Donald Sterling used to own the LA Clippers. Say he owned it from 1981 to 2014. Now remember 2014, well, a couple years before that, he had a little black girlfriend. And he pretty much told his little black girlfriend, don't be bringing those N-words to the games, don't be on Instagram, flaunt pictures with them N-words, whatever, they ain't about nothing, they ain't trying to be nothing, you ain't finna embarrass me like that. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much, I'm your man. I'm your sugar daddy. Stop hanging around them N-words. Even talking about Magic Johnson like that. And she recorded it, or somebody recorded it. It got leaked. And then everybody's in the uproar. Then come to find out he's been saying stuff like this for years, maybe decades, and nobody said anything. See, as long as you keep it by, you know, under wraps, behind closed doors, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. But then when you bring it out to the forefront, and the whole world's up in the uproar, and everybody's in the uproar, that everybody that you employ that's on that court bouncing that ball, making that money, is a black American. Oh, somebody gotta go. So you know what they did? They didn't kick him out. They kicked him out the league. They suspended him first, had a little old paltry $2.5 million fine, so they're gonna suspend him for a year. You know how they really punished him? They made his wife sell a team for $2 billion. $2 billion to go away for saying the N-word. You know, that wasn't a deal that he had. This man owned his own basketball team, but they forced him to sell it. Or they was going, if he didn't sell it, they were going to go to court. There was, you know, in arbitration and all this to get him up out of there. Because he didn't want to sell it first, but eventually he did it. So you talking about a guy. Anyway, the cat is in his 80s. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I mean, his life is, I ain't gonna say pretty much over. He had pretty much at the end of his life. So he done lived his life, done everything he wanted to do, and so now it's like, do whatever. So you gotta sell a team for $2 billion. That's how they treat an owner. And what about this new guy? This Robert Sarver, the guy who owns the majority of the Phoenix Suns and the Mercury. This guy was caught saying some racial, sexist stuff not too long ago. And so they fined him $10 million. They said they're gonna give him a 1-year suspension until they can figure out what to do with him. You know how they punished him? Punished him saying he has to sell the team, which I believe is worth about another $8 billion, if I am mistaken. But I think it's more like, let me see, hold on, let me see. I'm making up numbers. What's this guy's name? All right. Sarver Sales Son. I don't want to say it then because I could be I think I'm way off. Way off. Let's see, the Phoenix Suns right now is worth, Phoenix Suns are worth 1.9 million, that's according to recent estimates, but however, a new report from Forbes estimated the team could go as far as 2.5 billion. So $2.5 billion. So I was off, but still, shit, I ain't got $2.5 billion, so I could be wrong with all I do. 8 billion and 2 billion is the same to me because I ain't got neither one of them. But again, these guys own teams. They own the franchise. They own the business. And when they do something wrong, you got people say, hey, but you representing the league, although you own this team, you have to sell it. Because we're going to continue to fine you, and we're going to continue to suspend you until you do otherwise. And so that's how true business goes. But that's pretty much what I wanted to put out there. Brother Ye, I think he's in a bad place right now. You know, I'm still trying to see what his end game is. You know, a lot of people saying, you know, coming down on saying that this is chess, not checkers, and that he's playing checkers. I don't know, because how do you know somebody's playing chess? How do you know if they're playing checkers and not chess until you see the final result? But you know, in chess and checkers, somebody still has to win and somebody still has to lose, right? So if he's playing chess, you won't know, and you won't really realize it until he wins in the end. I mean, cause I try to figure out why he would put a school in Simi Valley, of all places. Is he trying to bring Black American kids out there to that school, show them a different world? Cause you know, think about this. I don't know if he's doing this or not, but think about this. You got a lot of schools, you know, charter schools, stuff like that, for Black kids, or prep schools that are, you know, created for inner city youth. But the schools are still in the inner city, right? In the same neighborhood. They don't see anything different outside of the same neighborhood. But what if you put a school in a predominantly upper class white American neighborhood, and you bring nothing but inner city Black kids to that school? Then they'll say, and then you're teaching them, you know, they get better education, better facilities, stuff like that, better health. Now they're seeing things different. Going back to Ice Cube, you remember in what was that, Strata Compton? Is that the name? Boys in the Hood. Was it Strata Compton? No, Strata Compton movie that came out a few years ago. Remember, he was being bused to a high school with a bunch of white kids. But you see what I'm saying? But like I say, and he turned out to be a very smart businessman. His parents, you know, made sure he was on the right track. I think he even went to college or trade school, technical college, I believe, before he actually went on tour with NWA. You know, he had been in the music business for a few years. So the dude, like I said, was smart. Then signed the contract. You know, he listened to people, you know, who told him about the business, and he, you know, told him the ins and outs and the dirty deeds that some of these executives do. And he did the right thing. And look at him now. So that's what. So you just don't know what Kanye is thinking. I don't know if he's thinking that or not. You know what I'm saying? And the White Lives Matter shirt is more like I don't know, was it tongue in cheek? Just saying that, hey, Black Lives Matter was a scam, which it was kind of thrown off. And when I do this review of Candace Owens' documentary, which I need to do this pretty soon before it becomes old news, and y'all gonna see some stuff we already been seeing in the news in the last few years, in the media in the last few years. But this documentary say it's some stuff. I'm not sure why nobody's trying to sue the Black Lives Matter organization. I'm really not, because they did some stuff that, I don't know, it was underhanded, it was dirty, and they just used the death of Black men to become rich, to further their cause for the, you know, for the destruction of the nuclear family. I mean, real talk. I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, that's all I got for this one. Hey, y'all, like I'm saying, man, understand this. Like I say, ownership is key. You got to own your stuff. If you don't own it, I don't care what it is. If you don't flat outright own it, man, you got no power. I know a lot of us live in houses, paying notes. paying mortgages, we got cars, we paying car notes. But as long as you owe somebody money on anything that you own, on anything that you have, it's not yours. It's not yours at all. I mean, shoot, I still own a mortgage. I still make mortgage payments and still pay, you know what I'm saying, still pay automobile note. You know, like I say, it's my truck or my house or whatever, but if I ain't got the title to it, I got the title to one automobile, but if I ain't got the title to it, it ain't really mine, because anything can happen. I could lose a job, you know what I'm saying, can't make no money, and stuff will get repoed. Then what you gonna do? You feel me? So yeah, own your stuff, try to own your stuff outright. Think about it, between your house and your car, if you can pay those two bills off ASAP, you know how much money, think about how much money you can have in your pocket, in your savings, in your investments. I won't say savings. You have some in savings, but invest. The money you can invest, it can become that much more richer. Think about how much your value is, because now you own the house or you own the car. And you can use that in go get loans, or use it towards school, the kids' school, or whatever the case may be, because you have that leverage. So again, like I say, it's important to own stuff. Like I say, Kanye, you got deals with these people, but you don't own nothing. You talk, you talk about them, which is something I wouldn't agree with. Not out in the public, not like I said, when you ain't running nothing. Your ego is what, if he's not playing chess, his ego is what's gonna bring him down. Because it's a powerful machine that he's trying to go against. And the problem is he's damn near going at it alone. I hate to see the brother fall off. But anyway, tell me what you think. Leave your comment below. Share with the world. With that being said, I leave you in peace. And I'll see you on the other side.